On Deja Vu. How you doing, babe? Oh, let's get a cup of coffee. Oh, it is Wednesday, trash day in the hood. Somebody pushed trash cans up on the sidewalk so they didn't get picked up today. Why? Because their priority of a parking spot was more important than my trash pickup. So, how was your day? Sometimes you just don't rate. Sometimes you just don't rate. 'Cause he don't love you like I love you. If he did, he would break your heart. Those other guys you've been dating, woo, I'll be there to take your hand. Boo, 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 boo. No, they ran that program down to the nuts. It's over, man. They ran those horses right down to the nuts. It's over. Over. Young people don't have the patience to have 10 minutes between post time. They need action, baby. Action. Action. Everybody wants to grab the shade here. And then they give you a dirty look if you grab the shade first. No, they rode that horse racing right down to the nuts. a day. I don't know if I got, maybe I'll go over to Costco. I don't know. I don't really need anything. We're in pretty good shape. Oh man. I gotta apologize, guys. I haven't had time to do any videos. I'm just too busy working, trying to make some money. So I'm gonna apologize, not apologize. You know what I mean? It's like I gotta keep the lights on. Just walk right across, dude. There you go. Don't mind me, bro. Just stumbling around. The boy is just stumbling through life, man. He's just schlepping up the street. Just schlepping along. I'm waiting for the allergies to hit. It's been a pretty rough week, but we're sustaining. If this is the worst it gets, is it better? Yeah, I don't think it will be, because we get a second wave that comes in June. They always give you a teaser wave and then BAM! They knock you upside the head with a baseball bat, and that's it. That is it. And brother, it is over. Over. So I do have the chicken wings tonight. So I said last night I was going to cook them up, but they still felt like they were kind of frozen. And you never want to cook frozen meat, especially chicken. You might have Sal and his friend Manila over there. Good old Sal Manila. Arnie Germ and Sal Manila. Who needs it, right? You think I need to be on the pot a week in a row, every minute? All right, we're gonna sit in the middle of the road. We don't know what we're doing. Now we're gonna start moving again. There we go. We got our brakes off. We don't know what we're doing. It's a typical California sky. It's just that Samsung tends to render colors a couple shades darker than they are in real life. I'm not going to say it's not a beautiful sky. There's not a cloud. You know, it's typical summer weather pattern is here. We're not likely to see a drop of rain until December. And that's what makes California special, because you can plan any activity anytime. Arnie Germ and Salmonella. Boys are sitting at their hands on the gas station there. All right, go ahead, dude. Get that big Ram you got to fill up with that diesel. Woo! Woo! What is that, Ronnie? That's like a 30-gallon, it's like a $200 fill-up around here, man. That's a $200 fill-up. Boy, if that doesn't curdle your cream, I don't know what the hell will. I'm just glad to have the van that gets decent gas mileage. I can't imagine filling up one of these vanity trucks. How often do you ever see somebody carry something in the back of the truck? Okay, are we gonna go? Are we sitting here? We don't know what we're doing. We're at the lights. Here we go. It's a big decision. know what we're doing. So, evidently today halfway to Halloween? I don't know. Or was that April, October, November, December, January, February? Yeah, April 31st. April 30th is halfway to Halloween. Pedestrians with bags. I don't know what she's all about, mate. I don't know what she's all about. I don't know. She's running along. She's babbling. She's mad. She's still talking. I don't know where the hell she went. She's at the Grossman's. Everybody's an angry beaver today. How you doing, Judy? What's up, Steve Sutton, the legend? What's going on, brother? I'm gonna take that pole right there. She's gonna curse these people. Oh man, Tina, how you doing, honey? Nice to see you. Let's flip this bird around here. Get rid of that. I don't know where my mirrored shades are. They're somewhere in his van. If you can find them. Oh, it's almost embarrassing to shape this van. I've been working so hard, guys. I got so many projects I'm doing right now. Trying to make a few clams. I had to blow off a volunteer project this week. So what's going on now? I have my mirrored ones, right? These are like now what the hell these are? Some kind of third world. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, I love it. They're made in China. That's good enough for me. Steve Sutton, a legend, man. How you doing? At least it's been comfortable working conditions. I don't know if I'm going to put any carrot. I guess I'm going to put carrots down. I don't know if I'm going to put bok choy down. I think that stuff will burn up. I'm not sure. I'm the legend. Yes. Oh, yes, I am, man. I am the legend, brother. And don't you forget it. I'm about as legendary as last week's bread. Going to DC to visit my sister in a few weeks. Definite size to land up 95 to Chaps on. Boy, that's a pretty long haul for some pit beef. You know, I have a feeling this year I'm going to be spending more time in northern Virginia there. I'm going to do that as part of a road trip if the price of gas ever goes down. You know, who in the hell knows, right? The way shit's going right now. Silverback, touching $90 today. Yeah, I don't know if I've been up there. I would go get some crabs. That's what I would go to Michael's or A1 or Schultz's Delicatessen, Schultz's or Pappas's, something like that. If I'm going up to Balmer, that's what I'm gonna do. Or else if I'm gonna be in Towson, Maryland, Ocean Pride, I miss my fight to be with Trump and she. I like the way Trump must have called the chairman of NVIDIA, Jason Huang, and said, Jason Huang wasn't going to go. I guess he feared he would be in a confrontational middle with the president and with the president of China there. He probably felt uncomfortable that he'd be caught in the horns of a dilemma. So I guess the president caught up with him in Alaska and said, I'm going to touch down in, or whatever, Fairbanks. I want you to hop aboard. Let's go. 90-day credit delinquencies at a high since 2011. People are stressed. My town came in third with time. Real estate sales. Western Pennsylvania went big time. What does that mean, deja vu? Are you saying it's a? Are you saying it's a popular region to move to? Is that what it is? You know, as I've always said many times here, there's a lot to like about Pittsburgh. You know, they've done a big transition to medicine and high technology there. Tim Walls talking about then would be in China. I don't know. You know, I never followed that saga. So it's a good area there. You got Washington, Pennsylvania, which is just over from Ohio. You have Wheeling. You have Cumberland, Maryland. You have that confluence right there of the Allegheny Valley. Yeah, it's you know, living in Cumberland is pretty cheap, and it's a pretty big city. Please hit the thumbs up button if you're coming in today. I got to figure out what the hell did I do. I thought I had the sunglasses right up on here one time. And then, I don't know what the hell happened. Oh, man. Yeah, you're right near 68. The National Highway. I wonder what the hell happened to. You think some bird stole them out of the vehicle? I don't think so. I don't know. Yeah, well, it's people find that area attractive. What people don't like is the school taxes in Pennsylvania. My sister used to live up in Shrewsbury, which is right over the border from Maryland there. And, she didn't like the school tax. I said, well, you know, as society, we can't always be out for number one. I mean, we have to also put a little skin in the game for other people. We've been good at this country in dining and dashing. I mean, we've dined on $39 trillion of debt and dashed that and left it to our kids and grandkids and threw them a shovel and said, start digging. Right? Boy, did they get the raw end of that deal. That's what we did for them. We dined. And we split. What's going on, Daniel? We did one of these things. We left a bill for them. It's one of the most horrendous things in the history of the world. At the same time, they're about ready to dismantle this super tech bubble here. It's pretty sad when you think about it. Let me tie my shoe here. So what do you think of that, Elmer? Mr. Deutschland? You see how our lovely Oakland mayors were voting in? No, I didn't see, Tina. You got to understand, Tina, that we're like in the end times here now. I'm not speaking about biblically. We're at the end times where you know, their public pensions are so high that they have to pay now the obligations, that they have a choice, and it's a bad choice. They can either cut police and firefighters, which is always the biggest part of any city's budget, or they can try and raise taxes. That's it. And in California, they only know one thing to do, and that is to continuously push to raise taxes. They're doing it out here. I was talking to a woman last night. I was walking around, and she's trying to put a quarter-cent measure on the ballot to collect money for COVID sniffing dogs. And I'm like, well, what the hell? What about, seems to me, the Hunter virus? I'm hearing a lot more about the Hunter virus than I'm not worried about COVID. So, you know, there's always people here ready to push. They want to push an additional tax onto the train here. Never made a penny, will never make a penny. But we're so supposed to subsidize everything. I think Sonoma County is pretty high too, babe. Pretty high too. Plus people are rolling through Oakland now and just dumping garbage on the side of the roads and stuff. Just outright dumping now, and you know, the city just doesn't have money. Well, actually it does. All you need is a couple, you know, is a trailer to go through town once a week. But once you start doing that, you condition people to bring more trash and dump more crap. We're just a city, we're just a people that are very stressed out with the cost of living right now. Yeah, I'm saying I have it too on my street up here, Tina. You know that. I do my YouTube shorts. Tell me you live in the hood without actually telling me you live in the hood. Mattresses. I come out one day, somebody dumped the whole carpet and padding into the front yard. I was like, what the hell? Right. This morning I go out to get my trash cans, and somebody had put the trash cans up on the sidewalk so they could park their car. My garbage never got picked up. You think they gave a damn about me? There's just a sense of entitlement in society today that is just pervasive. You know, I'll get mine and F you. Right? It sure sucks to be you. So I'm paying these super ridiculous garbage rates, and you know, I can't even get my damn trash picked up. So this is what you're dealing with today. Tina, we're fraying at the edges, babe. We are fraying at the edges. We got all kinds of things. We've got men that are increasingly invisible in society. Yeah, you like my side hustle? Yeah, I gotta have a side hustle, man. I tell you guys, I gotta earn a little mazuma. I gotta have a little bit of coin in the realm. I gotta have a side hustle. Now let me tell you, if you're a person that can fix stuff, in the coming years, you're going to be able to name your price. You'll be able to do the work that you want to do and skip like I don't do drywall work. You think I'm going to sit there and look like a Pillsbury Doughboy swimming in all that crap? I've been there, done that enough times over the years. Enough is enough, no more. I do the stuff I want to do. So yeah, I'm very appreciative to have a side hustle. Very appreciative. I'm bitching about everything and I really don't care. I'm not so tired of that. Well, we start to get there. I mean, it's a natural thing, deja vu. You almost adopt the mindset of, well, you know, I don't know what's going to be next, but I know something's going to be next, right? You're just like, okay, you're so used to seeing the BS now that you're always waiting for another shoe to drop out there. It's just, I couldn't believe it. Somebody was ignorant enough to push my trash cans up on the sidewalk today. That's ignorant. That's somebody that puts themselves ahead of you. Yeah, good help is hard to find. Yeah, I mean, it's you know what it is, deja vu in a lot of ways. It's not even about the help, it's about a safety and security issue these days. Number one, whoever you bring in may or may not have the skill to properly do the job. You do something electrically backwards or something, your house could burn down. Right? And people are going to overpromise. They're going to tell you, yeah, I can do this, or I can do, yeah, well, I hope so. And number two, the person in your house might be walking around looking at everything you have and taking an inventory in their head. Oh shit, that's a silver service over there. They're doing the math in the head. Let's see, silver's $90 an ounce. It's 99.9 sterling. Shit, that looks like about, shit, that looks like 15 ounces of silver. That's almost $1,500. I'm gonna tell my cousin, man, and she'll do the job, and then I'll get a commission off of it. I walk around these neighborhoods with you guys, and I'm live streaming, and I look at some of these homes, and I know this is like, these homes they're out of control because the people they can't do it anymore. They have no confidence to let somebody in and do the work. They're fearful of civilization. They're fearful of our fellow man now. And that's a pretty sad indictment of the world today. You know what I mean? People end up with their head beaten in, laying in a pool of blood in their home. So that's why I'd rather not have a damn thing. I don't know. There's a cost to pay. I'll pass at this point. Yeah, there is a cost to pay, and some of these people's homes are falling down around their ears. They got to pay the property taxes, the maintenance. It's a lot to take on. Looks like you have plenty of street parking. Well, it is sad. Well, they're stuffed into these apartment complexes, and they'll take any street parking. You would think they could have at least had the decency to move it into the driveway so that the truck still had a chance to pick it up. If you say something to somebody, and I don't know who the hell it was, but you're liable to get your head blown off. I mean, it's just the way it goes. I think I'm about to get a money hit here. I don't know. I guess we're safe.
What?
Thought somebody was going to make a cash withdrawal today. So that's kind of the state that stuff is in. You know, when people start to get stressed economically, one of the first things they do is push aside maintenance. They don't take care of routine maintenance. So it's like pay me now, pay me later. 1 week to spoil a little more. Yeah. So I don't know what videos I'm going to be able to get up this week.
We have an hour. We can walk around. We can drive them. You want us to go?
Imagine you have a cat's life, man, just laying around all day, waiting for the next food drop. Yes, ma'am, I'll be happy to help you with all of your house stuff that you need to be done. Something out of Breaking Bad. Shit. Alright, of course we're not charging. I can't wait till all of my new cords and plugs and power packs come. Oh, Lord. I dropped a lot of money on a big, heavy-ass power pack. Yeah, please give your thumbs up. Would you mortgage the equity to invest in real estate? At this point in time, I would not, deja vu. Because the phenomena I'm seeing right now is that mortgage rates are hitting around 7% now, 6.5% to 7%. And that starts to get in a real danger zone here for affordability. Remember, we've been in a low interest rate environment like from 1980, 81. We just declined rates until 2020. So people over that period of time, when it started in 1981, people weren't that, they were still, the economy was still functioning, it was struggling, but there was still business being done, even at 20% interest rate, but we had a lot of resilience. There was a lot of structural power under the economy. Nowadays, as low as interest rates are, we're almost like hothouse orchids now. You open up the greenhouse door and you raise interest rates a little bit and all of a sudden, ooh. So a little bit of an interest rate rise here has a super dramatic effect on the housing market, which means if friction increases in the housing market, and it gets harder to buy, if it gets harder to sell, then the way you overcome tough selling is you lower the price. On the other hand, you have a government that's borrowing and basically printing money now at an unprecedented rate in a panic to try to keep this 10-year note below 5%. If they lose it, then if we go to 8%, it's over. And mind you, we were at 18%. We go to 18 now, and you go to 8% now. You're looking at budget deficits of $4 to $6 trillion a year. So this is the battle that the Fed is. It's a life and death struggle going on right now, and they're using every magic trick in the book because the performance of the auctions has been poor. Yeah, your people are going to put surcharges on. I mean, you can hardly blame them. You know, let's say Chili's restaurant, Chevy's restaurant over here, they probably buy, I'm going to say $5,000 worth of food, $4,000 or $5,000 worth of food in every 2 weeks or so. Yeah, the companies, you know, delivery, Cisco or US Foods, they're just going to tell them, look, bro, we got to put a gas surcharge on it. Once one does it, they all do it. The real problem here is the people that are heavily leveraged, like Las Vegas right now, is, I would say, kind of on the verge of a dire situation here with the overhead they have to cover off, the nut that they have to make every, how you doing, Naomi? The nut that they have to make every night, every day. Just after the market closed today, Cisco announced that they're letting go 5,000 people. There's nobody in that let go pile that made less than 150,000 a year. I guarantee you that. And where are they going to go? To your local Starbucks. Let's hook on that in. Ain't that man happy to do so? Look. I bought a house at the time because I needed a place to live. Period. I just happened to be at the right place on the cycle, and hit the absolute low point of the post-2008 housing collapse. Not brains, just luckiness. Out here you have a school district that is just frantic. The city of Santa Rosa, this county, and this is the embarrassment here. This county is one of the top wealthiest counties in the United States, period. Rich. And yet they have the state's worst fiscal crisis in the education department now, because they put cultural wishes of communities above educating children. And if you go to close the school here and the racial profile of the people is not correct to your liking, then it's called racism. And you know what, folks? This county, you're still pinned down on that. Unfortunately, in this county, that still moves the mail here. That you can be shamed into, in other words, your children's education is secondary. And we just came out with the latest education report for the nation, which was absolutely horrendous. It was almost unbelievably bad. So who do you put first, teachers and unionized teachers, or do you put students? Well, you know what the answer to that is. It all comes down to parenting. It all comes down to teaching, not for the money, because nobody ever cared about money when I was younger and being a teacher. But once you get the union involved and you start to take over an engineer and railroad, it's over. It's over. Imagine if we had to pay teachers like the private sector based on performance. What? Oh, hell no, man. I'm going to work at Walmart. Oh, hell no. Hell no. But we can make excuses for that in this county. All these gassy grandmas that can stand out there and protest indivisible and all that. They don't give a rat's ass about these schools because they don't have a student in them. Right, Ronnie, it all depends on whose ox is being gored. So, we used to care. Now, our generation sucked the juice out of the lemon and passed the lemon rind onward. How you doing, Alex? I'm not sure what that means. Saw the billboards on the storefronts. Is it really okay? I don't know what that means. There's a few too many dots for me to connect on that. But you know, you either put education of children first, either children go first, or all of our civilization suffers. That's it. Period. That's by design. Oh, the weather is so nice. All these fire guys do is take these big trucks and just ride around. Here comes the fire truck through the second time. I guess it's coffee time. I don't know. What's going on, South Valley? How you doing? So we're just chilling out today. I worked hard. I got to continue to make some money. I got to switch over my property insurance company. That's going to be a hoot. Because Safeco stuck it to me after 14 years. They gave me the old Fongola. I seem a little peeved today now. Somebody was talking about something, I don't know. I was telling them that, well, I'm peeved today, Boy Blue, because I had my trash cans out on the street and somebody moved them up on the sidewalk so that they could park their car, so my trash didn't get picked up today. Tell me, how do you like me now? Because I live in a neighborhood that is so overbuilt with apartment houses and crap that there's always a perennial shortage of parking. If I had a brain, I would open up the back 40 and make it into a parking lot. But I'd be afraid somebody would dump their piece of junk and just use it as a dumping ground. Boy Blue, do you want to do a piece of research for me? Simple thing right now on the chat. Go onto Google and ask Google how many jobs were created between June of 2025 and March of 2026. June of 2025 and March of 2026. Best to put it to AI, otherwise the regular Google's all flummoxed and giving you 1,000 different everything except the answer. Am I echoing? It might just be you, Deja Vu. I need somebody else to confirm. Man, the weather is so nice. All right, let me clean this for a minute. All right, how is it now? Bad or good? We're waiting for my research assistant to report back. Anybody can look it up. How many jobs were created between June of 2025 and March of 2026? You have to ask AI. You can't ask regular Google. You're my research assistant. These people hanging over the line. Yeah, you just go to Google and then AI. How many jobs were created in the United States between June of 2025 and March of 2026? It's all public. Gets reported every month. We're really up a pole if we have to fight for that information. Shit, man. Jeez. I mean, I think we report a monthly figure, don't we? And then we adjust it 2 months later or whatever. I mean, we're not sneaking in to get the crown jewels here. Good thing we're not on a game show. Phone a friend. Are you there? Blue, are you there? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, you were so close to that $1,000,000 you could taste it. What happened to your friend? Deja vu, do you know how to ask a question into Google AI? Yeah, well, we better save that for another day. It's something like 368,000. No pay to park right now. Blue Dude, are you on an alternate planet? We'll save that for another day. That has to marinate for a while. It should just spit out a figure. I was like, you don't have to pay to park. Really, son? You got 2 more hours on the meter, dude. There's 2 more hours. It's all right, Boy Blue. We'll just let it marinate a bit. I don't have the energy to really dick around with it tonight. I was just going to tell you something astounding, but we'll let that go for a bit. We'll let that marinate. I don't know. I guess I spend a lot of time on AI. To me, it's a breeze, but I understand for other people, it's a new technology. AI solves the problem so you don't have to go in there and add month to month to month to month and all that stuff. I did too much today. I'm not sure what that means, deja vu. If you punch it in and you're getting an answer, I mean, that pretty much says it's real time. At least where I come from. Breeze feels so good. What's going on, Val? Looks like there was 1 million. We'll save it for another day. It's 368,300, somewhere between 360 and 370,000 people. There's a professor at the University of Michigan that has the figures. A female professor up there. She might have had to compile it together, but it should be in the database. I hear it way hot then and now. I hear very hot there now. Oh, it's 88 degrees. The breeze is blowing, and I've never been more comfortable in my life. I'm in coastal California here, which is, you don't need air conditioning here. Yeah, I'm saying not the gig economy, the actual hire employees, not the gig economy. Employees that were actually hired for a job opening, not gig workers. Can't even change my channel. Why did you change your channel? Kenny, I don't know, how old are you, Kenny, by the way? My phone dinged and I thought it was the microphone. Okay, yeah, I'm 60, I'll be 68 next month. And I remember it was like it was yesterday. In 1979, 1980, can you explain to me why I don't know? Why they don't know? Duncan, the point I was trying to get at, and then Blue, I'll come back to your thing. There's a professor up in University of Michigan that just did a study of jobs that were filled between June of 2025 and March of 2026. And it was something on the order of 365,000. Maybe somebody could put University of Michigan professor on job creation June 2025 - March 2026. Then you'll see it. There's a lot of malarkey that's going. You have to understand that 38% of the people working in the economy are gig jobs. That's it. So they're not reported in jobless claims, things like that. They're out there hustling. Like if I decide to deliver Uber Eats, and I do that for a year, and I file for unemployment, I'm not going to get it out here. You're an at-will worker. You work when you want to. You don't need direction from a boss. All your function is to deliver food. That's it. So Duncan, maybe you have access to a computer that you can look that up. University of Michigan professor on June 2025 to March 2026 job information. Yeah, almost my birthday. Now, as far as why the market back in 1979 and 1980, and I remember like it was yesterday, gold was going up to $800 an ounce from like $250, $230 an ounce, and silver was going up to $50 from like $5. And every time that the Fed would raise interest rates over that period to fight a very strong inflationary trend, you would think that raising interest rates would have an adverse effect on gold and silver, but every time that they raised interest rates, gold and silver moved to new highs in that final race up. I was there and still got it. In other words, it's markets always tell the truth, but they don't have to tell the truth immediately. And right now we're in a situation where most stocks decline today. And you have 10 stocks that are accounting for 50% of all the money that's being sucked into the market right now. It said non-farm in March. It's not March of 2025, babe. It's June of 2025 and March of 2026. So what you have here is you have a huge momentum play, and here's what's going on. There, 70 to 80% of the trades that are done on the market now are done by a algorithm. And they train the algorithm to say, every time the market has a dip and these conditions are met, go in and buy. And all of a sudden these computers unleash a great deal of money that goes in and buys. Now, is that money going in because of economic analysis, or is that money going in for an algorithm? On the algorithm. Well, you can see today, look at Accenture Corporation today, the biggest consulting company based in the United Kingdom. They have what? They had 80,000 junior analysts. The stock was almost $400 today. What is it? 170 something. In a market where the NASDAQ goes up 300 points, Salesforce, Microsoft, Accenture Corporation, Adobe, down, 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 down. Every day. It doesn't matter whether the market's up 1,000 points. People are getting the hell out of Dodge, man. They know which coming, Blue. I looked at it. Yeah, 302,000. Now ask it. Did you ask it in AI, Cheryl, or did you put it together yourself? Well, you're going to have a hard time fighting interest rates. Yeah, but Claude's looking at gig shit and all that, so it's okay. We'll save it for another day. But underneath of the surface, everybody's rushing into hardware right now, and architectural hardware. He is good as he. Cheryl, ask your AI assistant if you still have that window open. Ask your AI assistants, and you can say, based on what the University of Michigan professor reported sometime in the last week or so, how many of those jobs went to men, and how many of those 300,000 plus jobs went to women? Hey, Tara. Very simple question. So you have a case where the real wealth of America, that bubble of process information that you pay a seat license for every month, is going like this. How do you replace that revenue when you have 80,000 consultants out there, and your sales force goes out to renew the contract, and your company that you're consulting for says, we don't need 100 licenses this year. We don't need you guys. We need about 5 of you, not 100. The fuck did you say? What are you saying? I'm saying each one of these that we have can replace 20 of you guys. We're Accenture Corporation, dude. Yeah, Agro's doing good, Blue. Agro's got plenty of upside. Their earnings were a little light on the half year reported, but people look ahead. Markets look ahead. I've had wheat, WEAT, for a long time, and that's gone through the roof the last, especially the last 4 or 5 days, because the growing conditions are horrendous for wheat. I'm expecting to make a lot of money on wheat. Hello, Scottish. I'm very deep in the wheat market. What's going on, Scottish? So what I'm saying is, it takes a long time for when a market is being run on an algorithm right now, and you have computers doing 70% of the trade. The bottom line is, you're running a program, you're not running an economic thought. Therefore, it's very easy, as long as the momentum play keeps working, that you keep doing it. But it does not mean that the fundamentals aren't deteriorating under the surface. How long? Inflation. I don't know, man. Let's put it this way, Blue. I wouldn't want to be Scott Bessent right now. Scott Bessent called all the big AI companies to the White House, number one, to find out what he was up against with AI. Remember, this guy came out of the investment community. Guys, tell me what this AI is capable of. Well, it could take down your bank. That's number one. Number two, Scott Bessent probably told them, you know what? Technology moves very fast these days. And he said, you know what? You guys are pouring a shitload, hundreds of billions of dollars, $2 trillion. No, it's 94% of those jobs that were created went to women. 6% of the jobs went to men. Men are disappearing. That's what I was trying to get at, Cheryl, that the University of Michigan professor just reported yesterday, today, or sometime this week, that of the 300 some thousand jobs that were created in the non-gig economy, 94% of them went to women. 6% went to men. You have a world here where men are withdrawing from the workforce and are at the same level as they were in 1948 when we were cutting over to a post-war economy. I mean, think about the implications of that. So we'll continue with the analysis here for you, Blue, and it's a very good question. Number one, we have algorithms that are running investment programs today. Is that smart investing or is that machine investing according to a program? In other words, is that algorithm making a decision based on economic conditions and forecasts, or is it making a decision based on a pattern that it sees in the market? Yeah, it's more than interesting, Cheryl. It's absolutely frightening. When you net it all out, you're talking about 94% women and 6% men. Men are disappearing from our society at an alarming rate. It's the latest thing I just put into my book. There's some really astoundingly crazy shit that's happening right now in our world. Now, every 2 weeks, if you work, you put money, some measure of your money goes into a 401k plan. Most of the money that goes into a 401k plan is invested according to indexing. Right? On the theory, if you can't beat the S&P 500, just be the S&P 500. Don't make any decisions because you guys can't prove that you can beat the market. So just buy the market, dude, and just fire everybody. Oh, people are like, shit, 25, 30 years ago, that makes a lot of sense. If you can't beat the market, just be the market. All right, one time's lunch. Hear me out here. What happens is that amount of money that's going in every 2 weeks is being indexed to the market. And you have 10 companies that are sucking down 50% of the money that's going in. Now the question is, are those people running that money and indexing, are they examining and thinking about fundamentals? Or are they just following a program? A lot of money going in every 2 weeks can create a lot of buying power. It can also put you like Wile E. Coyote into thin air over a canyon because nobody's thinking. They're just matching a pattern, and then this is where you get these terrific breaks where reality suddenly hits and the whole thing goes down. You can never sell there. You did buy the Yeah, I mean, people have a lot of strategies. I like to go on fundamentals. I like to look at something and say oil prices are high. They're probably going to stay high for a hell of a long time. Everybody needs fertilizer. The price of fertilizer is doubling. It'll probably double again. Who is best positioned to take advantage of that? Agro. That's it. They're off to the side. They're not involved in war. They're in South America. I look at conditions. I say wheat conditions are terrible. We're going to have a shortage of wheat. Not immediately, so I'm going to buy wheat. And I'm going to buy a shitload of it. Can always do 1% equally weight. Yeah, but I'm saying the average company that's doing indexing is not going to do that, Boy Blue. They're just following a program. And because it's self-reinforcing, it just continuously reinforces itself and can very easily pull itself away from the real economic conditions that are underneath. That's the point I'm making. I think it comes under the heading, as my old finance teacher said back in 1981, when everybody thinks alike, nobody thinks very much. So it's like a follow the bouncing ball type of thing. So as far as like why a market can keep rising, that's a perfect explanation of why it can do so. Because you have a strong trade right now, a strong idea that tech is a winner. There will be no losers, even though we see Accenture Corporation and Salesforce and Adobe and Microsoft under pressure and stuff. No, they'll fix themselves. Yeah, fertilizer is the big problem. I don't care, deja vu, if people promote stuff on here. I'm going to be 68 years old. There comes a point on YouTube you just don't give a shit anymore. It's not that right. You got other stuff. You got other stuff now. Grandkids. And what about Mosaic? They didn't have very good earnings when they were. I've never even heard of Mosaic, Chuck. What is Accenture Corporation going to look like going forward? One of the biggest consulting firms in the world. When the chairwoman of Accenture Corporation, Julie Sweet, tells the people that work for her, the analysts that are left, the consultants, if you can't visibly demonstrate to your clients why AI is going to save them and enhance their operations, bye. Someone else's. Oh, hey, Scottish Darren, you run the chat, honey. I just talk. I run my mouth. I don't override my moderators. I don't moderate my own chat. You can just tell people don't do it Scottish, and that's fine, big. That's why I have moderators to keep things, but I'm trying to give some explanations here that are kind of complicated. And if I come on and tell people and can visibly demonstrate with the actual cited note that of the 300,000 plus jobs that were created, 94% were filled by women, and that male participation rate in the labor force hasn't been this low since post-war 1948. There's some serious shit going on. Oh, I'm just saying deja vu. Just follow the moderator's cues. It's all good. If you're not rattled by that, it's not to say that women shouldn't have those jobs. It's to say, where the hell are the men? They are literally disappearing from society right now. And as far as I have a video coming out, I just haven't been able to finish yet because I'm out there making money. Are they healthcare jobs? When you think about healthcare, What does healthcare depend on for job creation? That's correct, Chuck. They've withdrawn from the workforce. They're in the basement surfing porn and playing video games. They have totally checked out from society. No, the money goes into the medical field from where? Where does the revenue flow from? It goes in to fund hospitals, durable medical equipment, pharmaceuticals, indigent care, vaccines, surgery, experimental medicine. What does that all depend on? What else besides insurance companies? What makes insurance companies look like midgets in the medical revenue paying field? What makes them look like absolute midgets? Nope. No, it's fine, Scottish. I just find that the Socratic method of getting points across works a lot better. You ask questions and people answer. Yes, Medicaid, Medicare. Do you know how much money flows into medicine from states and the federal government? It's a phenomenal amount of money. Once you start to realize that job creation is only taking place because of the money that's flowing in from the government, more nursing homes, and remember, until the mid 20th century, there really weren't nursing homes. So all the medical doing is it's you don't want to call it a leech, but it depends on revenue from the United States Treasury. Healthcare stocks have been falling lately because they realize one undeniable fact, Chuck. One undeniable fact. That sooner or later, and probably sooner now, the United States government is going to have to severely cut back where they put their resources. Are they going to cut down the Department of War? No. They're going to start taking away from Health and Human Services, Medicaid, Medicare. Well, you can't have prescription eyeglasses anymore. You can't have, subsidized gym memberships. I know it's good for health and all that, but we can't afford it. That's why I say, Scott, is there, and that the big intergenerational wealth transfer that's supposed to take place, because of the dire lack of children, a tremendous amount of that intergenerational wealth transfer will never happen. It used to be in the old days, you'd have 5 or 6, 7, 8 kids. You could distribute across those kids the cost and the responsibility of taking care of an elderly person. Now, more likely than not, it gets put onto society as a whole. That's not the way, the destruction of the family carries real implications. And they're all coming home to roost right now. Let's give a thumbs up, guys. You may not agree, but at least I'm putting thoughts out here into this thought sphere. Yeah, he's going to up the defense $1.5 trillion or something like that. But boy, Blue, and since you're good at using AI now, ask AI what happens if the 10-year United States Treasury's 10-year notes that they use for figuring mortgages, car payments, credit cards, it's the foundation of credit. Ask AI what happens if that 10-year interest rate goes to 8%. And you better sit down when you get an answer. Ask them what happens to the federal deficit. Right now you had all this cheap money that was rolling over at low interest that's now coming to be funded at 4.4, 4.5, 5% 30-year now. Something's got to give. They're either going to cut spending or they're going to print money. There's only two choices. Printing money is buying lemonade from your own lemonade stand and booking it as revenue. Okay. But what it does is it dilutes the lemonade so it tastes like shit eventually. And you know what? Nobody buys it anymore. And then on the other hand, you have AI, which is basically going to take every bit of value that was in the handling and processing of knowledge and drop that to zero. Yeah, and Cheryl Munoz said, my AI assistant said it would cause an economic shock across the board. It would flatten, it would devastate. This is what Scott Bessent, our Treasury Secretary, faces every morning when he gets up. What more strings can I pull to keep this son of a bitch down? It's a bad situation. It's like the guy that's spinning plates on the stick and he's trying to hold which one's going to fall. Oh, I got to get that spinning again. Oh, this one's starting to go. Would you believe, Cheryl Munoz, when I got out of with my MBA, interest rates were 18%? And you know what? It was a hard economy, but it didn't shock it. But because we had 40 years of declining interest rates, we grew hothouse orchids that are unable, we have an economy that's unable to thrive except in a hothouse environment, which means very low interest rates. If you abuse that, there's no keeping the lid on the interest rates. That's opening the door to the greenhouse and watching everything die. What we did was overly sensitize the economy to the point that we couldn't have any of that give that allowed us in 1979-81 to put interest rates up to 18% or whatever. If that 10-year note touches 5%, you can put that in too, Cheryl. You can see it's going to effectively add, you know, what, $100 billion, $200 billion to the ongoing yearly deficit. Yes, the 30-year bond went over 5% today because it's a worldwide market for money. We're competing with Japan, we're competing with Europe, with England, with Asian countries. They all want capital. AI wants your money. They want to build a data center in your backyard. Well, Cheryl, it's not within the president's hands. You know, it might have been 4 or 5, 6 presidents. No, the 10-year note is at 4.46, 4.48%. And the pressure is growing because the Treasury has to look at and say, not only do we have to fund our debt, which is tremendous, but all these knuckleheads are in here now borrowing money for their AI construction. How you doing, Kelly? We don't need competitors when we're buying. We don't need to have other people buying at the auction when we're trying to buy something. What do you think? Why do you think gold and silver have done so well the last 5 years? Because they're recognizing, and countries around the world, China, Russia, Korea, Japan, they're recognizing that the era of paper money must come to a close. So they go back to 5,000 years of psychology and they say, you know what's always carried the mail through every civilization? Rome, Greece, the fall of Constantinople, shit, Vikings raiding everything. Metal in my hand, baby. Metal in my hands, gold and silver. Where do you think the expression "go for the gold" came from? So now we have a situation where we've ramped up algorithm trading, program trading to go in and buy the market at dips. And it will continue to do so. So what that means is this can go up at the same time this starts to go to deteriorate. Because right now, folks, it's deteriorating with the cost of energy. I've never heard so much complaining in the United States about energy prices as I'm hearing right now. And no matter which way you feel about it, we're in a situation where we're having to fill up the rest of the world's oil tanks right now. Because the whole Strait of Hormuz is all bollocksed up over there. It doesn't take a genius to put a scenario together that's not, you know, it's time is the big question. It's not if, it's when. Keep your eyes on companies like Caterpillar and these companies that are, the orders have been flooding in to build data centers, and oh, we need a lot more Caterpillar tractors. Well, all of a sudden, a lot of data center build-outs are being canceled right now because they can't get the material. There's a 5-year waiting list for transformers. 3 to 5 years. So they build these data centers. I don't want to let too much out because I have a video coming up, but they build these data centers. Everybody's going to come to our data. They're all going to need our data center. They're going to need our brain, our Wizard of Oz brain there. And this one guy somewhere out there discovers that, hey, there's open source AI software, which means anybody can use it. And you know what? I experimented. I tried putting it on my little Apple Mac Mini, and it fucking worked. It's like, I'm not paying your $30 or $300 a month for your AI. Man, I'm my own AI. I'm my own data center now. Imagine that happening 10, 20, 30, 40 million times, and Dell comes out with decentralized AI. All of a sudden, those data centers are cobwebs. And another problem with the data center is it's in the cloud. If you have your own computer at home or in your own business, you have an air gap. You're not connected anymore continuously to the cloud. The pirates can't steal your shit anymore. You're off the you have an air gap between you. They can't get in there. Oh, that's nice. So we're bringing our security back into house. Is that what you're saying? Exactly. So you better really understand the speed that shit's occurring right now, that it's like the cartoon where a dog would be racing or something, and all of a sudden its tail would go past its head. It's like, oh shit, we're being bypassed here. That's why Scott Bessent called in the head of Anthropic, OpenAI, Gemini, ChatGPT, said to them, if you knuckleheads race into this thing and you throw trillions of dollars into this thing, we're not, I'm just telling you right now on the record, the United States government is not going to bail your asses out. We're not going to be your savior. We're not going to say, oh, we'll just use this for sovereign government shit. Or no. How you doing, Jessica? Scott Bessent made it quite clear to him, if this thing blows up, boys, we're not backing you. Now, unfortunately, you and I both know what the Treasury Secretary says on one hand may not be what whoever's sitting in the Oval Office thinks. Remember, we live in an economy, a failocracy that privatizes profits and publicizes, socializes losses. Welcome here, Jessica. Is there possibly gas rationing in the future? You know, it's another case like Blue said. Why hasn't stuff hit the fan yet? It's because we have a buffer of hundreds of millions of barrels of oil, so that when the pump turned off from Iran in the Persian Gulf, it would take a while as those buffer stocks got worked down and the United States Fed strategic reserves opened that up and started feeding it into the market. We're just about at the end of that now. That buffer is getting smaller. Now it's almost direct drive. Whatever's pumped out is immediately needed right down in there. That's a bad situation to be in. So the president has got to get this shit wrapped up. And the alternatives don't look really good. I'm not predicting that. I'm not a war I don't know. I'm not a war person, so I'll leave that to the other people. But I do know what's happening in AI right now. It's dismembered software as a service. It's destroying the seat license. You have these CEOs that are probably sleeping in the office right now trying to figure how in the hell are we ever going to replace the revenue that's going to be lost to this company coming up due to AI. We can't do it, dude. We can't do it. Other companies are going to benefit in the short term by laying off people, you know, Campbell Soup, ConAgra, yeah, they can get rid of people or whatever. But basically, we're working ourselves out of jobs here. And you know what those people did? They took their big expensive paychecks, bought fancy homes, nice, beautiful Ford Raptor trucks, 120,000. Lived in Las Vegas on weekends, fly in, party, yeah, Mr. Town nightclub, yeah, send a couple chicks in, yeah, $800 bottle, who cares? We get all of their oil, but it comes at a price. You know, we can't steal it. It's going to be at a market rate with some type of discount. So there's a lot of friction developing right now. And when these companies that have thrown trillions of dollars into this AI start having to show a return for that, how do you show a return for something that's going to be driving itself down to zero? It's going to be a race to the bottom. That's exactly right, Deja Vu. You have massive, what we call an economic stranded investment. That its value was booked here, and here's what it is now. And we have to start taking that off against any earnings we have over time. All because of a little Apple Mac Mini computer that just changed the whole freaking AI game. You're not going to hear from Wall Street because they're in tight with these, hey man, don't pull the cork on us. You don't have a lot of independent analysis these days. Just when BlackRock thinks they... How about Blackstone, Deja Vu? Those poor slobs have commercial leases. Blue Owl has hundreds of billions of dollars of loans to these companies because banks wouldn't touch them. That's why we developed private credit, because the federal government said, you're not going to do that bullshit anymore. So these other weasels pop up. We will. Now, these other weasels are getting their ass handed to them, right? All this is taking place underneath the cover of the market. Just call up just look, boy blue, at a chart of Accenture Corporation. Look at a chart of Adobe. Look at a chart of Salesforce. Look at a chart of Workaday. It's the ugliest shit you've ever seen in your life. Blackstone, that's my favorite. The ones that bought up all the properties and wanted to put your rent up, those effing pirates. Please hit the thumbs up button, guys. So it all fits together. Gold and silver, rising interest rates, deficit problems, declining revenue to the Treasury. Remember, 80 to 90% of the Treasury's money comes from individuals. Take out a couple 100,000 high-paying taxpayers, high-earning, you start to make a dent. Today, 3 hours ago, who was it? Cisco Systems, which makes routers and other high-speed interconnect. reported strong order books. At the same time, they reported that they're laying off 5,000 people from there. You've got to get used to hearing about layoffs are going to be coming fast and furious. And you know what, guys? That's the demand side of your economy right there. That's the people that spend money on nail salons, Starbucks, restaurants, cruises, junkets to Las Vegas. It's not the guy that's working his ass off and, delivering Uber Eats. So I say I will be the most shocked person in the world if this whole thing isn't blown up by June of 2027. I will be utterly amazed. The first time one of these AI companies cuts their price, their usage, how much they're charging per million tokens, which is the unit of usage, brother, you better bar the door. Even that little worm that runs OpenAI, Sam Altman, had to cut his engineers in earlier, or else they wouldn't stick around. He had to pay them now because they know what's coming. They said, dude, we can see the writing on the wall. You pay us out now, or we're going to just drop the bomb on this whole turkey. So some of them got payouts up to $30 million. Hush money. How you doing, Dr. Frankenstein? Hush money. One day, might not be next week, it might not be next month, it might not be next year. You're going to say, Roosevelt, you were right as rain. You put the whole nasty picture together. I suggest you watch the video when I finally get a chance to put it up. Bad backward. Well, we certainly dumped the turkey on our kids and grandkids, didn't we? Talk about dine and dash. That's what I called it in my book, Dine and Dash. We took all the juice and then threw the lemon to you. You guys dig your way out of it. Wow. And they wonder why young people are pissed off these days. Boomer wilt, they'll be lucky if they don't burn the boomers' houses down. Roosevelt, you are so fine. How are you releasing your book? Jessica, here's where I stand. The book is written. I'm now going over just very carefully, page by page, making small little tiny changes, seeing if there's any additional supporting information, like the fact that 300,000 jobs were created between June of 2025 and March of 2026, and 94% of them went to women. Men are disappearing. I'm trying again on another round with the revised work that's been reduced from 700 pages to 200 to now go out for the second round and try to get an agent. If I can't get an agent by July, then I will just push the button, self-publish, put pre-orders up. You can pre-order the book. I will begin to have an audio version produced, a Kindle version, and eventually a softback version of that available. The work has been initially copyrighted October 2025. There'll be a secondary copyright application when I'm done here. I have I have 122 footnotes. I have a 80 plus book bibliography here. This is not just a novel here. This is something that would stand up as doctoral level work here. And I warn people now, there's going to be a lot of people that read this that are going to want to set it on fire. There's going to be a lot of people that drop to their knees and say, thank God somebody finally told the truth. And there's going to be a lot of people that are somewhere in the middle, but it will be talked about. It will be talked about. And you know what? Every single claim that's made is backed up by a fact. Not an opinion. And some of those facts come from hostile witnesses within their own thing. Yeah, I expect that there'll be hundreds of pre-orders that'll be coming out if I do it that way. When I put it into Claude and asked Claude to evaluate it, it came up with 9.7 out of 10. It said this is, this pulling together of information has not been done before. So in 3.5 years, you better have something to show for it. Most people will end up listening to it on audiobook, which is great. You get a good narrator. You're going down the road. You're just hanging out in your backyard. You're just chilling, having a cup of tea. You just pop it on and you just listen. And if you say, oh, I'd have to see that, you got to prove that to me. You can go in and just, there's the footnote. We have too much stuff today that's just bullshit, that's just made up stuff, that's just outright lies. Hey, how you doing, Sammy? I know, but it's got to be right. I've tried to read something that somebody picks it up, they look at the prologue, they look at the introduction, and they're like, oh, I want to see what this goofy fuck says. Oh yeah, okay, show me. Oh yeah. Oh, this is gonna be like a, oh shit, this is gonna be like a Agatha Christie thriller, man. The thing reads like a novel. No, I'm not, never. You'd have to be a really immodest person to narrate your own. There's no way. I'd be too ashamed. Anybody know how we can get Jeremy Irons? Mr. Sullivan, I don't hear a thing. I want Jeremy Irons. I know you've been waiting for it. And when I finally announce it, if it gets self-published, there'll be a lot of pre-orders, I know. I know that. Just based on the videos I put out and the information I put out, people know that they're going to hear something they've never heard before. Or your brain, what's the question? So you're checking on AI or your brain. What does that mean, Deja Vu? If AI writes, I can't copyright it. So if somebody comes to me later and says AI wrote it, well, number one, it's nonfiction. In other words, it's not fantasy literature. It's stuff supported by footnotes. AI is not writing nonfiction. That's number one. Number two, I have all of my paper, all of my stuff on Google Documents going back for 3 years. Every draft, every rewritten chapter, everything. In other words, I have the whole chain of custody showing that every bit of the book was written. How you doing, James? I never threw anything away. The only thing that I did was I asked AI to look it over where I had spelling mistakes, grammar, usage problems, things like that, and point them out to me. I asked AI to tell me how many words are in the book. I asked AI to verify the citations. And I used it like an assistant. I didn't use it to write. I did ask AI to generate a book cover based on the title and my thoughts about it, and it put something out that just absolutely astounded. It was astounding. But it can't be copyrighted because it's AI generated, so it's okay. You can't copyright AI material. That's why I have an initial copyright right now. And I also suggest if you have anything valuable on your computer or your desktop, laptop, notebook, if you have anything of value that's stored on there, you better also store that stuff off in an air gap. Copyrights are critical. Unless you have when you have a copyright, you're absolutely defensible. Because you never know, you might go to log on one day to Google or whatever, and it's like you can't, the service is down. And everybody's shit was deleted because some Russian, Chinese hacker or whatever got in there and found the right key, the 1 in a billion shot that opened up the treasure trove of Google. Deja vu, you can't just speculate on stuff, honey. I've been living this stuff for years. Copyright is the ultimate protection. There's nonfiction, there's, it's not like he took somebody's fantasy novel, and he ripped off her top and spellbound by her bosom, and, it's like, oh, you took that from my idea. I wrote about that. It's nonfiction. Nobody in their right mind uses AI to write nonfiction. You have to have the original ideas. So that's pretty funny. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Take it to AI court. Yeah, if something's AI generated, an image or something, you have every right to go ahead and grab and use that. Without limitation, you can't copyright AI generated material. So the only protection that people are relying on there is the fact that, well, it's already been used once, this image, so it'll just create confusion in people's minds. So I'll just do something else. It looks cool. It looks cool, but I can't use it. Take it to AI court. I don't know if Boy Blue is still here or not. How you doing, Deb? Nice to see you. It's always an honor to have you in the chat. I don't know if Boy Blue is still here. But I beg you guys to call up a 1-year chart of Accenture, Salesforce, Adobe, Oracle. I could just go on and on, and a Workday, and on and on and on. What does that mean? Manifesting an opportunity is possible. I'm not sure what that means, Deja Vu. You have to talk to me like I'm a 5th grader. I'm not the brightest bulb in the pack. Wow, it's comfortable. What's the temperature now? Man, we're at 79 degrees. We've dropped 9 degrees. Oh, I love cold. People will always pay big money to live in a good climate. How you doing, Maggie? A good climate sells itself. No humidity, no need for AC, little bit of heating. Nature's air conditioning. That guy looked like Kennedy, our Secretary of Health or whatever. What a guy. As usual, we've had very good discussions in the geekosphere. So I'll just leave you guys with the thought that whatever they're building now, they better hope to God when the paint dries that it still has value. Back in 1980s, early 80s, there was a company called Cray, C-R-A-Y, that had a supercomputer. They used it at NASA. I think the Department of Defense had one. I think Caltech had one. Trog. But when computing power, you have more in your smartphone in your hand than 200 of those Cray computers from 1980s put together. Cray disappeared. Technology just passed them right by. Digital Equipment Corporation, DEC. Most of you probably never even heard of Digital Equipment Corporation. They were one of the hottest things in the 1980s. Big mainframe computers. My high school in Baltimore City, Baltimore Polytechnic Institute Engineering High School, had the first mainframe computer in the city of Baltimore, which was a city at that time of 1.5 million people. It had the only one, and that baby sat in its own climate-controlled, air-conditioned room. Like the great and powerful Oz. Yeah, please hit the thumbs up button. By the time I graduated from college, that thing was a hunk of iron. Chuck, I don't think anybody in here's ever heard of Digital Equipment Corporation. They were massive. But the technology just passed them by. Now they're putting up that pretty data center near your community. They're like telling you, oh, don't worry about it. I know it might be a little noise when we're constructing, a little bit of dust, but it's going to be good for the community. You know, the 3 people that are going to work there, they're going to eat at your cafe in the morning. And you're going to be like, where the hell did they all go? The paint's not even dry, and it's like they put the chain on the fence. Well, now we're stuck with this big ass football field size thing in our neighborhood. Yeah, but the good news is you guys, we're going to open the gates on 3 weeks or so, and everybody's welcome to go in and strip out all the copper, grab everything you want. You can take it home. Well, hell, Martha, we better go grab something. Yeah, but Frankie, you don't even know what the hell it is. I don't know. Somebody will know. I don't need to know what it is. I know that somebody paid a hell of a lot of money for it. That's all I know. And there's the word. Yeah, quantum computing, man. I haven't even talked about photon computing. How about computing? One of the biggest problems with technology is the massive amount of heat that it generates these chips. When I'm out doing live streaming and it's already hot in the air, I can hardly touch the back of my phone. It's so damn hot. Now imagine rack after rack after rack of these things using tremendous amounts of power, and they require massive liquid cooling, air-conditioned environments, energy bills through the wazoo. It's like the equivalent of me having vacuum tubes, which are hot, they're inefficient, so they produce a lot of heat. And then somebody comes along and says one day, I got a transistor that does what a vacuum tube does, and it doesn't generate any heat. What? Dude, you're going to put us out of business. Well, there'll be some people that don't get the idea, but yeah, you'll hang on a while. Now, with photon computing, you move data along on photons, and it doesn't generate any heat. So you have a company, I don't want anybody to invest in it because it's highly speculative, but you have a company that's accomplishing that has a product that's now available for purchase. Yes, but under the ridiculous, taking all the electric. That's what I mean, and it would. I don't know what to tell you, Cheryl, except sorry. Yeah, but fiber optic is not the same as putting photons on a chip, and a chip the size of your fingernail will be able to do what half a football field of racked servers in a freaking data center can do. In other words, before you rush to commit all this money, you got to understand one critical thing. The technology is leapfrogging so fast right now that what it's actually creating is a situation where the cost of it to the consumer is going to be zero. It'll be a race to the bottom. Going up taxpayers to foot the bill. These companies, I thought these companies said that they were going to subsidize the electric. Their bigger problem right now, and it's probably a saving grace, is that they can't get transformers. So there's a lot of projects that were planned that are being canceled right now. You can look it up. Probably half of the data centers that were planned are being canceled right now. I mean, you've got to know what the hell is going on. He wrote in the intact mirrors, put the bill and screwed this whole town. I don't know who he is. He sounds like a wrestler. Lex Luthor or Lex Wexner, I don't know. It sounds like a wrestler. Sounds like a... Taxpayers always eat it at the end. But it's not the taxpayers, it's your kids and grandkids. And your great-grandkids will be eating the bird on this one. Remember what I said at the beginning of this earlier, it's all about the dine and dash. We've dined and we dashed. And we threw your kids and grandkids and great-grandkids a shovel and said, here, start digging your way out. And you wonder why they're pissed? Boy, wait till this shit goes. Pissed. Pissed doesn't even describe what these streets are going to be like. But we can meet up at Starbucks. Ronnie, what do you think? We have a meet up in Sheboygan at the Starbucks in Wisconsin there. Chuck, you're a hoot. They're eating the dogs in Ohio. We have to be prepared for potential famine situations coming up in some measures of the world here due to the fertilizer, also due to the horrendous growing conditions because of extended drought. That's why I'm heavily into wheat right now. Yeah, Ronnie's like, sounds good. Then we can go over and tour the Johnsonville Brats plant. Ronnie, they must have public tours of showing them making the sausages. Bringing in the meat, baby! Don't be a meathead. Is what is it? He's one for own bed band. He was mixed up with Jeffrey Epstein. Well, who in the hell? Yeah, war in Ukraine and all that. Who in the hell wasn't? It'd be easier to list the people that weren't mixed up with Epstein. He must have had some kind of secret sauce, man, down on his place. I almost feel like I got left out of the extravaganza. Like the last guy that couldn't board the plane that was destined to crash. Damn, what the hell was this dude about? A lot of these, I don't know, I'm going to tell you, Cheryl, a lot of these CEOs are very twisted people. Larry Ellison, who says he's angry at the idea of death. Jeff Bezos calls life extension an engineering problem. Nobody claim it's an accident. When they're wearing this belt rider won't get them clean. So it's been said. What's going on? What's going on, Riverway? Yeah, please hit the thumbs up button. We're way behind tonight. More people living in their trucks. You have some very demented individuals out there. How you doing, Joni? It was funny. I was talking to somebody who was saying how Larry Ellison, the chairman of Oracle Corporation, he gave his son $40 billion to buy Warner Brothers and put it into Paramount. And I was telling the guy, yeah, he bought an ancient wired cable system. Yeah, but he got all the legacy of X-Men and Super Avengers and all these great titles in these franchises. I'm like, dude, you know, RKO Pictures thought they were doing great when they took over the silent movie catalog, right? I said in 10 years, nobody will even know the names of those. I mean, how many people watch Walt Disney movies from the 1960s now? They probably should, but hey, Cornholio, how you doing? And the guy's suddenly he's like, oh shit, I didn't even, yeah, oh, yeah. I said, dude, fashions come and go. In the early 2000s, it was all the touchy-feely, the bridges of Madison County, and, you know, then it was comedy and Groundhog Day and Animal House and Stripes, Ghostbusters. People get saturated. Next generation of kids, they'll purposely not like what you like. So tell me how that's going to turn out with $78 billion worth of debt. I thought that Fontainebleau Casino in Vegas was bad, with like $2 billion of debt or whatever. Boy, they got made look like small change with John F. Kennedy. President John F. Kennedy's father, somebody asked him, what is, his father had a reputation for being a great investor. He was also a philanderer. He was using Gloria Swanson as a pincushion and stuff. But anyway, they asked him about investing, and somebody said, well, he says, people are always asking me what to invest in or whatever, and I tell them what don't to invest in. Never invest in the movie business. Right? Never invest in the movie business. Plain and simple. I guess I could have said that a little better about Gloria Swanson. God love her. She was magnificent in Sunset Boulevard. Magnificent. I could never sit through one of her silent, she made a lot of them, but I couldn't sit through that shit. But she was magnificent in Sunset Boulevard. Now I'm talking to my phone. Rosie's talking to my phone to Rosie. There you go, Deja Vu. pretty funny. Of course, arguably, Hollywood was a lot more fun than it is now. I mean, what's left of Hollywood? I mean, the state of California has to give subsidies now for movie companies to produce movies in California. Make that make sense. This is not you ever go deep sea fishing off Morro Bay? No, I've gone deep sea fishing off Bodega Bay. Why wouldn't I go off Morro? No, I'm really only interested in crab fishing. I thought the baseball game, by the way, guys, the baseball game is on Saturday. It is not on Sunday. My bad. So I will be out of circulation on Saturday. I think we're going to have something in Texas Roadhouse and then go up there, having a giveaway at the game. Hey, Deborah. So we want to go a little early. I also want to pick up I want to spend some time in the sports shop there. I know I want to get an A's hat. So don't ever get involved. Don't ever invest in the movie business. Now I think how much this goof is invested to take over Warner Brothers. Basically, you've signed a death warrant, dude. You'll never be able to get the revenue flow to pay off that money. And the old man's crapping his pants trying to not get this turkey of AI splattered all over. Oh, shit. Do I put too fine of a point on it? AI says I have this great ability to take a concept and reduce it to a sentence. Buy Warner Brothers. I'm not sure. You know, let's think about what you're buying, Tara. And remember, I was inside of Sony with a high-placed executive that has a job better than anything on that movie lot. And I couldn't see a hell of a lot that was that I'd pay a shitload of money for that I couldn't generate with AI. So what are you buying? You're buying a catalog of Warner Brothers movies, which means you get Three Stooges down there, you get Looney Tunes. What else do you get? Yeah, the Hunter virus. What else do you get? You get an ancient cable system that's running around. Old infrastructure that's clogging up telephone poles and shit. And a franchise. Of course, what do I read today? Oh, they were just about close to making a Hunter virus vaccine and then the money ran out. More bullshit. It's like we're getting close to finding the Axion particle. Yeah, we've been on that case for 25 years. We need to build a bigger super collider. No, you need to get your head on right, dude. You need to get your head on straight is what the hell you need. We just need it big enough that it can run around Europe. I just hope it don't get bad. Well, they've been able to keep it pretty good. I mean, they weren't letting anybody off that ship. It's not like the COVID virus came in and just smacked the shit out of people. That's all we need now is another. That's all we need now is another virus running around. That'd be the icing on the cake, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'm glad I got my Shingrix vaccines. 2 vaccines and you're set for life. Simplex, I'm going to tell you, I was one of the first people to notice something on YouTube. Before the COVID virus even came around, and I remember this like it was yesterday. Number one, this was before I was in Las Vegas with D-Dub in March of 2020 when they told everybody to get the hell out of town. Before that happened, I came on a month or so ahead of time and said, guys, I have seen the strangest thing on the news that I've ever seen. And it was an overhead satellite shot of outside of the city of Tehran. And there was just row after row after row of open graves. I mean, I'm talking about hundreds of, where a tractor had gone out and dug a 6-foot pit. And I came on and I showed people, I put that on my video. I said, holy shit, what the hell is coming? Remember, Iran was one of the very first places that started to have mass casualties of COVID. And then pretty soon they tapered off. And then I remember in China, shit, they just started, putting up doors and fencing to keep people blocked into their housing units. I had 5 vaccines. I'm not worried about it. I'm the old war horse from Baltimore. I was one of the first people to get it in January of 2021. Because I was working because everybody quit the medical field and they called the old war horse of Baltimore to come back in and get back to work. Okay. I was supposed to be done. But everybody thought that they were going to die. But when I saw those mass graves, that satellite picture, I said, wow, this is really weird. Yeah, I did, because somebody had something on some obscure, like one of the things, maybe it was the South China Morning Post that people don't read over here or whatever. And the headline was like, what are they expecting? Why are they digging mass graves outside of Tehran? At that time, the virus was already on the loose. And it had taken its first casualties. So I think they're a little better doing with the hantavirus. I'm interested enough to go back to 2000 and, you couldn't use the name COVID. I had to call it cornholio because they would take the video down. How does this new vaccine virus have a vaccine in 1994? Well, vaccines don't sit still, Kelly. Just like you're not the same body that you were when you were 10 years old. That's as clear as I can explain it. The virus doesn't sit around and wait to be wiped out. It has a teleonomic wish to survive. Yeah, they brought up that bullshit of people in China eating bat soup. That was in Indonesia, in some shithole part of Indonesia. Man, the bullshit was fast and furious around that. I got every vaccine that you could get under the sun. So how did they know in 19... Well, I'm not sure what you mean. What they were probably doing was updating it and then the funding ran out, or allegedly. We're not talking about rocket science here. You expose a little bit of the disease to build up an immune response so you don't get the full-blown one. They've been immunizing since the 1700s and shit. It's not rocket science. Inactivated polio, IPV vaccines. They give you a tiny little bit of dead polio. Everybody's had exposure to it. They put a little bit into your body. It's better than walking around with braces or living your life in a breathing machine. An iron lung. I remember distinctly growing up, a friend of mine, Frank Gunther, his father contracted polio. I remember him clinking up the aisles every Sunday in church in his braces. I will never get a virus other than the flu shot. I will get everything that comes down the pike. Flu shots, shingles, everything I can get. RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, everything I can get. I'm at the other extreme. I've worked 22 years in medicine. There's no mystery to it to me. Some people, some measure of the population will always have adverse reaction to something. But that does not mean that you don't do it. Because if the thing hits you the wrong way, you could be wiped out. My father died in December of 2020, and the vaccine was available in January 2021. It could have saved his life. Instead, he died in that 1 month of agony. Deja vu is like I'm pulling myself off of the. I'm getting off the. I'm pulling my vacuum tube out of the. It's like I'm on stand down right now. Don't talk to me. Don't write me. Lose my number. Don't do anything. Don't touch my doorknobs. Don't come to my door. I will use a flamethrower on you. I will eviscerate your ass. Please hit the thumbs up button, guys. We've had a hell of a fun chat today. I did a big walk last night. I'm resting my dogs. I had a big work day today, so So how do you like me now? Because boy in his BMW off to deliver his Uber Eats. I got chicken wings. Yeah, I got wings. In about half hour we're gonna head out and get some wing-a-dingies going tonight. I guess I'm gonna try baking them. I don't know. See if it's, and then I'll spray them when they're done. We'll do it in the chicken in the bag with the spices and see how it is. Unfortunately, I wasn't confident enough last night that the chicken wings were thawed all the way. They still seem frozen. Airborne rabies is coming from China. Love you then and now. Thank you. Thank you, Deb. Likewise. Every Debbie I have in this chat, and I have many of them, is such a great person. Why not? My sister's Debbie. Deja vu, why? What's your hurry, honey? Do you got a date tonight or something? I'm so happy to sit here. I got a breeze coming through the window. If I go to the Rancho, I got to look at cats with their heads in the window. It's very disconcerting to me. Cats the musical. I feel like Cruella Divine. It's 76 degrees. It's delightful. It's the climate here. It's absolute perfection. If you're not burning down in a wildfire or being shaken to the ground in an earthquake or being flooded, it's a great place to live. Otherwise, it's the most dangerous place in America. In a millisecond, I could go down a big hole in the ground and that's it. Me, the whole Rancho, the cats, the whole shooting match. I think it's 7 cats. Yeah, we get earthquakes. I've been through probably 7 of them. The last one, we were sitting here in the parking lot and the whole damn van, and then we got the earthquake warning on the phone. Remember that, Ronnie? Cats the musical. But I'm trying not to be outside too much direct exposure because of the allergies. Even though I got all these shots, it ain't foolproof. I've had some hella sneezing fits. Cats the musical. First thing I'm going to do is preheat the oven. Somebody tell me how long wings should be in the oven at 450 degrees. I like cats better than people. Cats, they never do evil. Cats, all they want to do is grow. Cats who are better than people. They never do evil. Cats who all they want to do is grow. Oh, do I have to be specific? Cats, they are so terrific. Cats who are better than people. They never do evil. All they do is grow. So do I need to be specific? I think cats are so terrific. Cats who all they want to do is grow. Cats who are better than people. They always do evil. Cats who Just think, if a cat had a chance to eat you, it would in a millisecond. The dog, it'd be kind of conflicted. It wouldn't know what the hell's going on. Yeah, that's it, Deb. You like my cat song? Do I have to be specific? Cats, ooh. They're so terrific, cats. Around them I'm so horrific, cats. Ooh. All they want to do is be a pain in the ass. They crap in my garden. They shit on my wall. And that's not all. Alright, what do we got now? Oh jeez, another damn emergency vehicle. That's gonna be my new cat song. Recorded for YouTube, it'll probably go viral at 100 million views. They don't do evil cats, that's me. Ooh, it's awful. These cats do evil. Oh, jeez, the thing's following me. Oh, it's awful. I'm gonna picket that house. Where does that bastard live? Cats are little evil machines. They're so desperate at this mall that they're putting parking right in front of the damn mall. I mean, wow, really something, the world we live in, ladies and gentlemen. Curbs, oh shit, oh shit, I forgot it's Wednesday night market. Oh shit, we're out of here. Of course, we got police helicopters overhead. Yeah, they want to put parking right out front. There's such a degree of desperation. Concierge valet, I'm sure it'll be. Sign the petition. This poor mall. Sorry guys, when you don't have children, you start to see the consequences in the economy. No, ma'am. Sad to say, Kelly, at the end of the day, I just don't have that much interest in the hockey. It's not on TV here, and once the AHL left Baltimore, the American Hockey League, I remember used to love listening on the radio when the Clippers would play the Hershey Bears and the Rochester Amherst and the Springfield Indians. Those were the glory days. I don't know who in the hell player I know is Yamaha or Mitsugumi, whatever the hell the guy's name is. Michigas, some type of Michigas. Oy vey. Yeah, I lost a dad to it. Perfect health. On the path to the third wife. Boom. Wasn't any more catting around. That was it. My dad was the life of the party. Well, the thing I say, Scottish, is it's a good thing we live in a country where there's freedom of choice. That I think is important. Somebody tell me how long I have to cook these chicken wings in the oven at 450. Somebody do a brother a solid here. The only reason I started following the Canadiens is because they were the worst team in hockey. Same reason I started following the Oakland A's. They're the worst team in baseball. I'm always drawn to the underdog. Now, everything I ever dreamed about the Canadiens is coming true in 2 years. It almost equals a feature-length movie, The Impossible Dream. The rebirth of an NHL legend. You could absolutely write a novel about it. It was another dreary night in Montreal, looking down on that ice, watching that forward break another hockey stick in frustration over the goal. That night I wondered how much lower could we go? How much more down was down? Was there ever going to be a there? And then looking up in those rafters at those NHL championship pennants, I suddenly thought to myself, what is wrong with me? I'm standing here in this legendary arena where hockey was born. I must reach down into my soul with every fiber of my being and hope against hope that next year may be different. 165, half 45 to 60 minutes. Okay, that sounds good. Just remind me. Oh, I love writing. So this morning I put my trash can down last night, and some dick takes the trash cans and puts them up on the sidewalk so my trash doesn't get picked up today. Some total self-absorbed person took it upon themselves. Well, that's what Google's for, guys. So I don't have to go to the library and open up a cookbook. You look at my 1932 General Mills cookbook, there wouldn't even be a concept of wings. I ask it, what do you do with apples? It says eat them. Shit. Really? Really? Wow, I wouldn't have known. Dr. Frankenstein, have you heard any of my AI discussion? Just curious, because I don't want to say you're a geek, but you have nice geek tendencies. I better not see a fat-headed cat around here. Yeah, I was in chill about 2 weeks ago, a month ago. Then I got really wise. I saw the future. Oh no. Oh no. Look at the horror. Look at the horror. Just when you think your day can't get any lower. Look at that. Put their snot noses on the window. Bother the hell out of me every day. You gotta wait till Blackbird comes. You're not getting double feeding every damn night. Look at the size of these. Look at Goliath. What is slob over here, man? You understand how big this cat's gonna be? Oh, wow. Yeah, poor things. Says you. You should have such a good life. Oh, man. Those cats live like royalty. Absolute royalty. I should have such a life. Oh, I better start learning Yiddish. All this mishigash. Oh. All right. All right, they're the bane of my existence. Let me get the oven turned on. I don't even like to look at them. But I'm forced to. I'm forced to look at cats. Cats the musical. I like to be that grumpy person. With the Michigan. Oh, my set. I'm trying to get the oven emptied out. All right, we're doing 450 degrees. Which means 500 on this. You gotta really clean it. This oven hasn't been cleaned in 12 years, but I haven't really slopped it up too bad. All right, there we go. cats, ooh, all they want to do is grow. Cats, ooh. Whether I'm right, whether I'm wrong, whether we can't just all get along, I gotta be free. I gotta be free. I act like a kid and that's bad on me. I gotta be free. Roosevelt, you are so fine. Like a fine wine. The Wicked Noodle website, air fry. I don't get an air fryer.
View the current moment as an ideal time to test the military alliance with the U.S. president.
It's a KPFA evening news.
The member states that displease him and threatening to
Let's get a little bit of H2O.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said that he secretly visited the United Arab Emirates during the Iran war. His office said today that Netanyahu met with UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan during the visit. It added that the visit, quote, resulted in a historic breakthrough in relations between Israel and the United Arab Emirates. The announcement comes just a day after U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, revealed that Israel had sent Iron Dome
stir fry cover and
along with
man.
However, the United Arab Emirates Foreign Ministry denied Israel's statement, releasing its own statement that emphasized that the Emirati relations with Israel are public and transparent, saying, quote, any claims regarding unannounced visits or undisclosed arrangements are entirely unfounded unless officially announced by the relevant authorities.
You know what? War makes strange bedfellows.
For U.S. President Donald Trump's International Board of Peace overseeing the Israel-Hamas ceasefire said the stall of the ceasefire.
It's funny, Gling said poor cats. Like, what the hell? How about poor Rosie? Good news is cats are very independent.
Overseeing the U.S. version ceasefire, Rosa says the truce hinges on Hamas's disarmament.
The other good news, there's a million damn cats around here, so there's never a shortage of anything to eat. It sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
International mediators agree it's crucial to the ceasefire. Hamas linking disarmament to Israeli troop withdrawals, but no significant progress has been made. Dire conditions for Gaza's 2 million residents and accusing both sides of ceasefire violations.
There are violations every day, and some of them are very serious.
And criticizing Hamas for consolidating power, but says they could play a role in post-war Gaza if they disarm. I'm Julie Walker.
Man, Middle East, what a vampire.
Beirut in Lebanon, killing at least 8 people, including a woman and her 2 children. That's according to the Lebanese health ministry. The Israeli military said it targeted Hezbollah infrastructure in southern Lebanon. This comes after residents of 6 southern villages were told to evacuate. Lebanon and Israel are set to hold direct talks in Washington on Thursday. The health ministry
You can tell people are already
number of people in each vehicle.
burned out.
Attacks occurred despite a
Because I was born and raised in Baltimore.
The conflict has resulted in significant casualties.
We never mention the N-word.
President Donald Trump arrived in Beijing today for what many are calling a, quote, high-stakes summit with China's leader Xi Jinping. Trump is saying he'll focus on trade issues, but he may not be in a position to push for any big wins on that issue. Christopher Martinez reports.
President Donald Trump was greeted by 300 children waving Chinese and U.S. flags and chanting warm welcome as he arrived in Beijing for his much-awaited bilateral summit with Chinese President Xi Jinping. As he left the White House Tuesday, Trump had told reporters, "We're the two superpowers. We're the strongest nation on earth in terms of military. China's considered second." But Trump says it comes at a delicate time for his presidency, with his popularity in the U.S. plummeting and his war on Iran dragging on with no sign of resolution. That means Trump may not have the bargaining leverage he had hoped for. Even so, back in the United States, Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson says Trump is laying down a marker that the American people are not going to be taken advantage of. He says he's hoping for the best.
So our prayers are with him, and he has a good visit with Xi in China that come forward with some.
How come Mike Johnson doesn't have a southern accent? That makes him very suspect in my mind. I got more of his southern accent than he does.
Tariffs and trade relations are on the agenda, with Trump hoping to secure a win with deals for China to buy more American food and aircraft. Trump was joined in the visit by business CEOs, including former special government employee Elon Musk. As for the war on Iran, that is a question mark. Trump has said he expects it to be a topic, but he's also said he does not expect to discuss it because he has it under control. As for China, it unveiled a list of topics ahead of the
shit's under control.
off the table. One is the right of countries to have a nuclear program.
Ultimate stalemate.
Another is Taiwan, which China claims as part of the country. President Trump is now saying the main focus of the meetings will be on trade. On that, the final result is likely to be something less than a breakthrough. James Zimmerman is with the American Chamber of Commerce, China.
The key thing is that
No, I don't remember that, Deb.
Of a grand bargain, no expectations of any kind of breakthrough. With all of the challenges that we have in the trade relationship with China.
I hated him.
But what we can expect
Bob Irsay sucked.
with the two leaders meeting, that does give business a sense
Worst
of
thing that ever
confidence.
happened to the city of Baltimore was that kick.
Optimism that we have an ongoing dialogue and that the two leaders are meeting.
Altogether, while Trump has pitched the meeting as a monumental event, some observers are now seeing it as more of a shrinking summit, as a former Bush administration official put it. Reported for Pacifica Radio News KPFA, I'm Christopher.
Another unnamed source.
Gunfire broke out in the Philippine Senate today when authorities tried to arrest a lawmaker accused by the International Criminal Court of committing crimes against
I
humanity.
spent a lot of time in the
while
Philippines.
Former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte. And the AP's Charles de Ledesma filed this report.
Security officials gather after a burst of
What was that all about?
Wednesday night in the Philippine Senate, where authorities have tried to arrest Senator Criminal Court for a charge of crime against humanity. It wasn't immediately clear what
He was a good guy to booze with.
or if there were injuries in the Senate, where Senator Ronald De La Rosa
I don't know.
has stayed in protective custody by allied senators as Philippine
It all worked
authorities
out for
tried
their
to
good.
arrest him. On Monday, the ICC unsealed an arrest warrant for De La Rosa, a former national police chief who worked on...
Hey, how you doing, Vern? It was good. I worked hard today, so I'm just kind of chilling tonight.
Suspects were killed. The warrant charges De La Rosa with the crime against humanity of murder of no less than 32 persons between July 2016 and the end of April 2018.
Having some peanuts and a beer.
I'm Charles de Ledesma.
French authorities have ordered over 1,700 passengers and crew on a British cruise ship to stay on board due to a gastrointestinal illness outbreak. The Ambition, on a 14-night cruise from Belfast to Liverpool,
Damn, man.
reached Bordeaux.
I don't think
on
I'll ever go
Tuesday.
on a cruise.
Up to 50 passengers showed symptoms.
Day by day, that's it, Vern.
Isolated. medical team is investigating the cause. The outbreak is
One day at a
not
time.
related to
Hey, there
the
should be a
hantavirus
TV
incident
show
on
about that.
another ship. The operator of that cruise ship, which is at the center of a hantavirus outbreak worldwide, said he expects to know by the end of the week if the vessel will keep to its schedule for the coming months. Oceanwide Expeditions previously
The
indicated
ship of
it
doom.
would. The Dutch-flagged MV Hondius is listed on the company's website as scheduled to depart on a cruise later in May that would take it to the Arctic for a series of cruises throughout the summer.
Yeah, that'll be
Ship's
good.
Passengers died in an outbreak of hantavirus that was first
Thank you,
confirmed
Vern.
this month while the vessel was in the Atlantic. In all, there have been 9 confirmed
Would you go on that
and
ship?
suspected cases in the outbreak. 18 passengers from the cruise ship
Take us out to the ball game.
U.S. and being monitored at health facilities in Nebraska and Atlanta. One in Nebraska has tested positive, and one in Atlanta is experiencing symptoms.
I'm going to the game on
Health officials say
Saturday.
The risk to the public is
Woo!
low. Max Pringle reports.
I'm going to get a hat at least.
Virus is usually spread from rodent droppings, but can be spread between humans. Passengers aboard the MV Hondius cruise ship contracted the disease last month. 3 people have since died. Several others are sick. Dr. Brian Christine is with the Department of Health and Human Services. He spoke at a press conference in Nebraska.
Let me be crystal clear. The risk of hantavirus to the general public remains very, very low. The Andes variant of this virus does not spread easily, and it requires prolonged close contact with someone who is already symptomatic. Even so, we have taken this situation very seriously from the very start.
Nebraska Governor Jim Pillen said state and federal officials have taken every precaution to make sure the ship's passengers are being quarantined.
Yeah, that'll be the day I start watching birds.
Plan in place.
It'll mean I'm ready for the insane asylum.
Folks are secure with their initial assessment
I wouldn't know one bird from another, man.
to ensure
What the hell? The whole place is full of smoke here. Must have spilled something on the bottom of the oven. Pardon me. Oh, wow. It's all about the hantavirus. Yeah, I must have dropped something on the bottom. I don't know what the heck it was. All right. Oh, shit, I'm going to have to open another window. I don't know what the hell it was. All right. Whew. I didn't think I spilled anything in the oven. I've been pretty good about that. I love these Analon that Janet gave me years ago. We're all strange birds. Okay, we're not going to put anything on these. I can't believe how smelly that garlic is. Watch me get the hantavirus. Poor Gene Hackman's wife, right? We're gonna open these. Where's the knife? We're gonna use scissors. We're gonna have to clean the scissors off when we're done. We should really have kitchen shears. Billy shears. Billy Shears bumping in. What would you think if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your ears, and I'll be a moron. All right, let's wash our hands very thoroughly here. Let's wash these scissors really well. Do you need anybody? I just need someone to know. Could you be anybody? Okay. There we go. Throw that away. All right, into the oven we go. I'd love to know where in the hell my timer went. Is it in a drawer or something? Where in the hell did my timer go? We should go over and do some night crabbing. Wouldn't that be cool to do some night crabbing? I'd forget my ass if it wasn't hooked on me. All right, there we go. So what time is it now? So these are about 6:45. This is a half hour. We got a meat thermometer. Meat. That's nice. Great. Okay, so 6:45.
Prompting Ghana to summon
jeez.
ambassador and demand protection for its citizens. Ghana's Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okuzeto Ablakwa says the attacks are unacceptable.
Can't we all just get along?
Regrettable that at this time in this modern era, we will see such hatred, such xenophobia against each other, against others. It is totally unacceptable.
What's up, Hobby?
And we demand from the South African government to protect our citizens and to keep them safe because they owe them the duty of care.
South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa, speaking during Freedom Day commemorations, acknowledged concerns about migration but cautioned against xenophobia, reminding citizens of the solidarity African countries showed during the anti-apartheid struggle.
When the apartheid government was pursuing our liberation fighters, they ran to a number of countries around the world, but especially on our continent. They shared stories with our neighbors, and our neighbors shared their spaces with them, and they gave them safety. They even fed them. They gave them bread, and they opened their homes.
I went to a garden party. And I'd rather be myself, 'cause it's all right now. I learned my lessons well. Can't please everybody, so you gotta please yourself. Yeah, Mike Curtis, yes. Can you replicate his hit in public? Mad Dog Mike Curtis. Mike Mad Dog Curtis. Great middle linebacker.
At the international level, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres
Mike Curtis.
fought for the protection of migrants and strong social protection.
can't wait to eat some wings tonight.
Across the continent due to its relative
What the hell is this guy talking
However,
about?
persistent poverty, unemployment,
We'll be back with more news in a moment, but first, we are in the middle of a fund drive. I'm here with News
on attacks targeting immigrants in South Africa is barely being covered in much of U.S. media, yet those stories mirror many of the same concerns we're hearing here at home involving ICE operations and immigration enforcement across California and the United States.
MB, you're wonderful, honey. I'm not.
Matters. It matters because join us in our membership, and you can do that by going to kpfa.org or by calling 1-800-439-7333.
All right, guys. Well, we got some chicken wings coming.
I'm proud to report that despite concerns whether we would meet our fundraising goals during the last two newscasts, we did a Hail Mary and actually did. And I think that says something powerful about this community.
Imagine an atheist radio station
on the air. And that is exactly why we're doing a pitch a little earlier in the newscast to give folks the opportunity to go to kpfa.org or call 1-800-439-5732. That's 800-HEY-KPFA. And to sweeten the deal, we have another challenge match, a generous $500 match from Doug in Oakland. Thank you so much, Doug. Meaning your donation is doubled during this Pacifica Evening News Hour. So folks, we're asking you to help us unlock this match and keep these microphones powered. Every amount counts.
You should probably
It's
never
tributaries
spray
into
oil into a
the
gas oven.
stream here. If you can give big,
It's a Peavey. I think I got it for $30 at the
dollars a month.
At the pawn shop. Listen to the story about a man named poor mountaineer barely kept his family fed. And they was shooting at some food up through the ground, come a bubbling.
Step up, do not pass the buck. Go to military involvement in conflicts.
Yeah, that'll work out good.
Authorized by Congress
Yeah.
within 60 days.
Let's have Koya's Carmelita. I'm not sure what Carmelita is.
Many colleagues across the aisle have said we will give the benefit of the doubt to the president's contention that there was an imminent threat, but we will reconsider our position. 60 days have expired. We are way past that deadline.
I just want to sit in the back of the cantina there. Does the old man play? That's a good way to kill an audience.
That is an act of war. They're still attacking.
Act of war, baby!
It's an act of war. Both sides are engaged in a daily war as defined by international law.
Today marked the first vote since the expiration of the War Powers Act timeframe. Now, 74 days into operation.
Down in Alvarado. I hate Alvarado
Will
Avenue.
you or will you not honor your constitutional responsibility? That is the question that will be in the vote today.
The lone dissenting voice speaking against the resolution during the vote was John Barrasso, Senate Majority Whip of Wyoming, who berated Democrats.
Mr. President, what they're doing, the Democrats are doing, is not about protecting the Constitution. It is about obstructing the President of the United States. That's what's happening here today. That's exactly what Democrats are trying to do.
He criticized Democrats for not curtailing former President Barack Obama's military actions in Libya, and disagreed with the characterization that the United States remains at war.
President Trump
Look at that
has
slop.
complied with the law. Enforcing a blockade is not the same as active hostilities under the War Powers Act.
However, Lisa Murkowski disagreed. She was one of 3 Republicans to vote with Democrats.
He was like, that's a
At
lot of
yesterday's
fun.
subcommittee hearing on the proposed
That's love, ladies and gentlemen.
Murkowski said the law was straightforward.
The War Powers Resolution is pretty clear here. It requires the president to terminate hostilities within 60 days absent congressional authorization. I think it's important that we in Congress actually
Let's take it to the Supreme Court.
Role and responsibility to this. That 60-day clock expired April 28th.
Lisa Murkowski pointed to the continuing military buildup in the region and asked Secretary of War Pete Hegseth whether the Trump administration intends to ever seek congressional approval.
I think where there is confusion is when the president says hostilities have ended, we still have 15,000 troops that are forward deployed on the 24th.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Active naval blockade, CENTCOM has redirected 61 commercial vessels, disabled tankers. In other words,
Slip, slide, no way.
that hostilities have ended. And so
Slip,
the
slide,
question
no
here
way.
is whether or not the administration
Know the new destination, the morning slip, slide, no
to
way.
seek an authorization of use of military force
I
from
knew a
Congress.
man.
Senator, our view is that should the
Down
president
the
make
hill.
the decision to recommence, that we would have all the authorities necessary to do
I
so.
said,
Do you think that it would be helpful to the president if it was
no
made
way.
clear that in fact the Congress
Slip, slide, no
did
way.
allow, did provide an
Slip,
8-day
slide, no way.
I think the president, our view is that he has all the
Know
authorities
the
to use
new
our
destination, the morning slip, slide, no
State's
way.
Constitution, James Madison, was clear that the power to declare war belonged to the People's Branch in Congress, stating, quote, "The executive is the branch of power most interested in war and
Everything goes to the Supreme Court.
In principle, Democrats say Congress is going to uphold, warning the
I'm
biggest
sitting in the railway station, got a ticket for my destination. All tore up one night stand, my suitcase and guitar in hand. Oh, work out. I wish I was somewhere down.
Redistricting just 2 votes short of the 2/3 needed. 5 Republicans joined all the Democrats in the chamber to reject the proposal. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
I don't know what the hell that's all about. Oh, yeah, Goliath, he's something else. We got to make sure we don't burn up these wings.
A key U.S. House seat in Nebraska is too early to call. As of late yesterday, 2 candidates were separated by a narrow margin in a contest that could decide the fate of the state's so-called blue dot. Political activist Denise Powell had a...
Ronnie, what's a blue dot? I don't know.
...over State Senator John Kavanaugh out of more than 51,000 votes counted. The district draws national attention because Nebraska is one of just 2 states that splits its electoral votes. In the U.S. Senate race, incumbent Pete Ricketts won the GOP primary.
I was thinking today, guys, if we get this book published, our lives are never going to be the same again around here.
Walz won the Democratic nomination. Meanwhile, the race for West Virginia's first congressional district.
All right, guys, I'm going to get ahead and close it down. We got a thin crew tonight, and I've run out of energy. I had a hell of a work day today. I'm going to hit the sack early. I got to be on the job early tomorrow. I want to thank my moderators. If you haven't hit that thumbs up button, please do so. We had a very interesting discussion tonight. You guys are the absolute best. My moderators, Ronnie, Shimei, I don't know if Shimei was here, Scottish Saren, and Seattle Judy. Thank you for everything you do. You guys are the best of the best. Good times, bad times, ragtime. You are always the best. Woo!
Primary election, and I'm devastated by that because